Good morning, everyone. I'm Nancy Quinn, previously Nancy Ganzekaufer, and I am with my associate coach, Lesley Myrick, and a luxury interior designer still working as well. And you had an amazing install yesterday. I was watching it on your Instagram.
Oh,
If you guys don't follow Lesley's Instagram, go follow it, please. And of course, follow mine, which is still under Nancy Ganzekaufer, just so you know. But that install looked amazing. Beautiful property.
I mean, you cannot go wrong with an A-frame lake house for an install, but the nature of the beast of this business, we did a living and dining room and 2 of the living room chairs just didn't show up. We don't know if the vendor messed up, if our receiver got the wrong, I don't know. But you know what? I have to remind myself in this industry, we're not brain surgeons. We're not rocket scientists. No one is going to die today. And that's a perspective, I think, not related to our topic today, but just something important to remember is that, yes, what we do is important. It matters. We're in people's lives and in their inner business. But no one's going to die if the chairs don't show up. You can still do great work, even if it's not perfect. Fabulous, not perfect, Nancy. Exactly what you teach our Profit Insiders. So it was a great install. Client was okay with missing 2 chairs. We will, of course, resolve it and handle it. This is what we do. But yeah, never a dull moment on an install day.
And thank God for reasonable clients, right? Thank God for reasonable clients. And I'm going to push back. I actually think it has a ton to do with our topic today. Okay. Because now, how do you prioritize? You have a client who didn't get their chairs and you have your day already planned. And now yesterday this happened and you've got to deal with it today to deal with it quickly. So it does fit in, I think.
Good.
All right. So we have a questionnaire that anyone who watches our lives can go into the Interior Design Business Forum group if you're a member, or you can join as a member if you are in the interior design industry. Mm-hmm. And we have a questionnaire at the top of the group that you can submit questions for Lesley and I to answer live on our Thursday Profitable Interior Designer Lives. So if you would like to submit a question for us, please go into the Interior Design Business Forum. Pinned post at the top says, ask us a question, fill out the form. We will always change your name when we go live, so you don't have to worry about feeling self-conscious, because we know that's a thing sometimes for some of you. Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
So today, tell everyone who's, what the question is and who submitted it.
Yes. Question from Janelle. There are so many things my business needs. Preach it, sister. But I don't know what order to do things in. How do I know what to do first, second, and third?
Okay. So people get on my calendar all the time for one-off sessions when they're overwhelmed because they don't know how to prioritize. And as a solopreneur, often a lot of you are solopreneurs as interior designers, it's like you need someone to bounce shit off of, and you're bouncing it off of friends and spouses, and they don't understand the business. So it can be hard, but it can be hard, because they're like, well, why are you
and they're so sick of you talking about it.
I know.
My husband's like, you need a business coach. It's like, I know.
I know. Yeah. No, husbands tend to like me because then the wives aren't talking. If it's a wife, they're not talking to their husbands about business and crying as much anymore over being overwhelmed, right? Too much to do, what to do first. So I always say, let's figure out what the urgent needs are. Do you have any fires going on right now that have to be addressed and put out? Because we don't want that fire to get bigger and turn into a huge mountain. There was a post in the Interior Design Business Forum yesterday that it was not directly related, but it was like, my client just keeps coming back at me and coming back at me and coming back at me. And I was like, you know what? Don't let their urgencies become your urgencies if they're not really an emergency, right? Like sometimes a client can be very like, but this is really important. Where are my chairs? Like, where are my chairs? Where are my chairs? I have company coming next weekend and I have no chairs. All right, let's take a deep breath. You know what? Not having chairs is not the end of the world.
No, and it's inconvenient. It's unfortunate when you expected something and you've paid for it and it isn't there. I understand that, but you're right. I would not consider that a serious fire. Like a pipe has not burst and is flooding the home. Like that's a fire.
Correct.
Chairs that didn't arrive, we'll get it resolved.
Right, but you might have an unhappy client, and because past clients often rehire us, and because past happy clients can refer us, you might consider an unhappy client a fire.
And it absolutely can be. Yes.
It can be, especially with, contractors and things, and if there's a mistake. So let's, number one, if your not sure what to do first, second, and third. First, let's put out real fires. So we have to assess it not as emotionally as we normally do and determine whether it's a true fire or not. So that's tip number one. Why don't you give them tip number two?
Tip number two is to determine what improvements are going to be the most valuable to you, because these are going to be the building blocks to next steps. So this is when I want you to pause. You've put out the fire. You're keeping things day to day running okay. This is when you have to say, okay, what is going to be the most valuable? Do I need to hire? Am I just at capacity? Am I doing things that are not in my skill set? Social media, bookkeeping, renderings. Are there steps I can take now that are going to bring really leverage value over the long term?
Yeah. And I'll even give a more specific, like if someone's on my calendar to go over, like I'm feeling overwhelmed, don't know what to do first, second, and third, I'll say, how's your pipeline? Like, are you getting phone calls into your firm and to your phone to get new clients? If you're not doing enough business and your pipeline is dead, that kind of becomes urgent.
Yeah,
right?
That's a great point.
So marketing may feel like the thing you want to avoid the most, but after a series of questions from me or you might determine, you know what, marketing is probably the most important thing I need right now because there's no money coming in.
Yeah.
So after you put out fires and anything urgent, you should be focusing on your marketing, right? So but again, if someone says to me, well, my pipeline is full, that's not my issue. Okay, well then let's look at, is the money flow the issue? Is the profitability the issue? Is the bookkeeping a disaster? You can't even file your taxes. How do I get out of that situation? So again, there's urgent needs, and then there's what's going to be the most valuable to your business next, where it's going to make you more money or save you money or bring in more business, right? The money things are, to me, always next after putting out fires.
That's a great point, is that I was seeing this as the perspective of being overwhelmed. And maybe that is the case too. And maybe hiring does make sense. But if there's so many things your business needs, you're absolutely right that getting money in the door is probably the thing you need to be able to do the other things to keep your business going and to get things under control.
Exactly. I mean, we both hear like, well, I want to rebrand. I want to redo my website. I want to hire a social media person, but I don't have a bookkeeper that I like and I can feel comfortable with, but I don't have any business coming in the door. Like there's a lot going on simultaneously. Plus I'm working on the 3 clients that I have and somebody's unhappy and, they're in this stage. You guys as interior designers, and I truly believe this, it's one of the hardest businesses to run as a service provider. There's so many moving parts and there's so many things out of your control that it's really important, right? For you to be organized, on top of it, have great process. But where do you need your improvements? Let's look at the money next and make sure the money's flowing. Okay. And then number 3, you can't always see it when you're too close to it, right? When I start having struggles in my business, what do? I go to my staff and go, what's happening? What do you see? You need, or I'll go to another coach and say, what are you seeing? Or one of my sponsors, because they're very involved with our brand. So, and then I listen to their advice and I listen to what they say. I always listen to you guys. I may not always do it, but I go, all right, yep, I got it. Right. You need advice sometimes because you're not seeing your own business accurately. So sometimes you need an industry friend. Sometimes you need an accountability partner. Sometimes you need a coach who's experienced in the industry and running a business. So you can have a friend to go, what should I do next? Right? Kind of like what you guys do if someone hires you for designer for a day. You're their designer bestie with the knowledge and the expertise, and they're paying you to go buy that, do that, right? That's what you have us for. If you need a one-off consult, we can help you make some of these decisions as to what you should do to get your business going in the direction you want it to go in, right?
Yeah.
You need help with that sometimes.
You do.
Right?
And I'd be mindful too. I think you just said friend, but I would definitely gear you towards an industry friend. You don't want to be taking design business advice from your bestie from elementary school who you love, but has no idea what the business looks like or how it is. And so do be mindful about who you're consulting with and who you're asking for advice. It really should be someone that has either walked the path you want to walk, is in the same industry or an adjacent industry, is an experienced coach who knows this world. It can be dangerous to get advice from well-meaning people who don't know what the hell we do or how we do it or how complicated it is. So filter that advice carefully.
Filter, and we see it all the time, right? So the Interior Design Business Forum is my Facebook group that if you're in the industry, you can come on in. We see them crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
That's what these Facebook groups are. People crowdsource advice. But sometimes I see the advice and I'm like, oh no, like you don't have enough information to give this advice, and maybe you should ask more questions. And right. So there's a way of giving good advice, and then there's a way of like just people who just go, this is the way you should do it because it's the way I do it and I've had success. But their business could be very different. It could look different. Their goals could be different. The way they want to grow their business and their ideal client can be different. So just be very careful when you're crowdsourcing, not to jump on any one idea. Take all the advice, sit with it, and make sure it feels right for you and your business. And again, if you are not sure, get on with a strategy session with myself or with Lesley to help you make these tough decisions. Running a business is not easy. When I was a solopreneur, I swear to God, I would be like, who can I get advice from? Like I just needed direction, and I, would be scrambling to find it. Now with the industry, there's so many places for everyone to get direction and get advice. And what it really does, in my opinion, is it speeds up the success of your business.
100%. When I started my business, gosh, like 10 years ago now, I didn't even know business coaches were a thing. And a friend of mine pointed me in the direction of one. And I was just like, wait a minute, I can just like hire someone to help with these problems and make this easier. I'm like, take my limited amount of money. And I saw how that investment was going to just exponentially give returns. So I am a coach for that exact reason. I see the value in this. Nancy was one of my very first business coaches and has been supporting my business for almost a decade now. Definitely would not be here doing these big installs with easy, relaxed clients.
Yes.
Don't panic about missing chairs if it weren't for seeking the advice of a coach who knows what the hell they're doing to help me grow.
Yeah. I mean, I even had a client yesterday say to me, damn it, I made this decision without running it by you. And I'm not the be all and end all. Sometimes I don't give the perfect advice, but there was one really big move she made and I was kind of surprised, and I kind of watched it, and it fell apart a little bit, not totally, but it was a big mistake in her business. And she went, God, I wish I would have asked you about that. Like, and that's like, I know I get like, just ask me. So for my clients who are watching, make sure you don't make any big moves without checking with Lesley and I, just to see if we think it's a good idea. And you can still move forward even if we don't think it's a good idea.
I wanted to point that out too, is that we are giving our educated opinions and advice, but that doesn't mean it's exactly right for you. So you need to have that level of discernment too, to know, is this something that's challenging me in a good way to grow and change and do things a little bit differently? Or is this just really not a fit and I need to stand in that space and own that? So
it's a lot running a business and doing it by yourself, and all the decisions you have to make every single day. It's what they call it. And I said it this morning to my husband. I'm like, I got decision fatigue and I got to go another whole day and make a ton of decisions because we're in a growth mode and I'm making a lot of decisions really fast. So you pray that you're doing it right, and you run it by people who you know are smarter than you in this particular area sometimes, so that minimize your mistakes, and progress faster to whatever level of success you're looking for. Right. So, all right. So tell everybody how they can get on our calendars.
Yes, you're going to go to nancyganzikoffer.com and you will see a link to book a business strategy session. The links are also in any of the show notes and captions wherever you are watching this. We would love to have that one-on-one time with you because we can get a lot done on those calls and go deep fast, get to know you, your business, your struggles, and give the best possible direction that we can.
And I want to be clear that our one-off strategy calls are not sales calls.
That's a good point.
Okay. We're not going to be looking to try to get you into any other program unless you ask us, like, what else do you have to offer that could help me? But other than that time with me or with Lesley is all about your business and getting your decisions and getting you more profitable and more ideal clients, or whatever you're coming to us for. That is the goal. So anything else that we missed?
Don't stay stuck.
Yes, please.
Ask for help, get advice. If you are feeling stuck, overwhelmed, don't know how to prioritize, don't know what the next step is, please reach out and get the support you need and get past that, because sometimes you need someone to pull you out of the trees. Whatever is it? You can't see the forest for the trees, pull you out of the trees.
Yeah, I never use that one because I always get it wrong too. But
we're here to help you. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know that getting a one-off consult costs money, and everyone's going, I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I've never heard someone say it's not worth it, right? At all. Because the advice we can give in that one session can really move the needle for you. So please don't stay stuck for long. And I'll leave you with one final question. If you change nothing, does anything change? So a year from now, whatever struggles you have in your business may still exist if you're not pursuing educating yourself in a different way of doing it, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, everyone. We will see you next time. If you have a question for Lesley and I, go to the Interior Design Business Forum Facebook group. At the top is a pinned questionnaire that you can submit questions. We will change your name when we go live with it. But if you're struggling with any decisions in your business, let us help. Submit a question. All right. See you next time.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.